Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Wednesday, the 26th of July. Good to have you aboard. We are a Blue Wire podcast presented as always by Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, the best accident attorneys in the world. That's right. If you've been involved in an accident, if you're dealing with a personal injury, I'm sending you to where they're going to treat you like family. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. We got a fun show today. We're coming off of, you couldn't have scripted the first two games for Lionel Messi, Inter Miami, to go any better. The first game, he gets the game winner off an incredible free kick in the final minute of stoppage time. And then last night, you get just a dominant performance from Leo Messi and Inter Miami. Messi played 78 minutes. He got the start, his first start. Played 78 minutes. You didn't need to keep him in for the full time. Game had no chance of going to penalties. 78 minutes, and from the get-go, Messi dominates. Inter Miami dominates. We're going to talk, obviously, a lot about that. We're very excited. Best sports town in the world, center of the sports universe. All of our teams are awesome, including all of a sudden now Inter Miami. Best team, Messi, best player ever. So we're going to do a lot of Inter Miami here today. Excited about that. Hey, do we have an update on what's going on with the Miami Heat? Do we have an update on what's going on with Damian Lillard? Not so much. Well, I should say not so much. We don't have an update there. Are we going to talk about it today? A little bit. I got a couple things I want to get to here. Like as far as the players that are hanging in limbo. You know, I was asked about that a couple times recently. When's this deal going to get done? I'm like, you got to be patient. Blah, blah, blah. So we're going to get to a little bit of that. Now, the Miami Dolphins. Yesterday, you may have been waiting for ZASLOW Show 2.0 to come out at its regular time. And, you know, the show usually releases around noon. It gets updated onto everywhere you get your podcasts. And yesterday, it went live at like 4:30-ish, you know? So if you missed yesterday's show because you thought there wasn't a show, there was a show yesterday. I was driving back from Tampa yesterday morning with my son Jordan because we went to Monday Night Raw the previous night in Tampa. But if you missed yesterday's show, we got into a little bit of Dolphins with NFL super agent David Cantor, who is always excellent, giving us a behind-the-scenes look. We talked about the running back market, Saquon Barkley, that whole deal. We talked about Xavier Howard. He was that's one of his biggest clients, we know that. We talked about Xavier Howard and the season that he's hoping to have. David was very honest with us about the season that Xavier Howard had last year, that was down here. He's got a chip on his shoulder this year, how badly he wants to win with the Dolphins. He's a super team player. So and of course, we also talked about all the hype around the Dolphins. As the Dolphins officially open, everyone reported yesterday, today, Dolphins training camp is open. So it's all, now you're going to get all the reports. Oh, Tua bounced this pass, or Tua interception, or Tua touchdown. You're getting all the reports now, the play-by-play and all that stuff from the beat guys who are out there. So today, look, we did it. We made it. Training camp is open for the Miami Dolphins. If you missed our conversation with David Cantor yesterday, you could always go back, ZASLOW Show. You go back and listen to yesterday's show. You could also watch it. All of our interviews are on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ZASLOW Show. So we're going to do some Dolphins here today. And you got an NFL Top 100 list that is building. It's NFL.com, NFL Network, and they're releasing, I guess, in tens. And so yesterday, it was 90-81, and you had not one, not two, but three Miami Dolphins make their first appearance on the top 100 list. You're going to have several more Dolphins. So we'll get to that coming up, and you got big NFL news as far as contract stuff goes, which could have some ramifications as far as your favorite little football team, the Miami Dolphins, are concerned. Now, first thing I want to talk about, something weird happened to me yesterday, all right? Here's what happened. So, I'm in Tampa yesterday morning. We're leaving the hotel, right? We're leaving downtown Tampa. We're gonna drive back here. The valet goes and gets my car, And as I get in the car, and I got a Miami Heat bag, that my son and my clothes are in, and so everyone could see it. It's got the Miami Heat logo on it. And as I get in the car, the valet's a young guy, probably like late 20s maybe, and he says to me as I'm getting, goes, "Go Celtics." And, oh, okay, all right, because I got the Miami Heat bag. So he sees I'm a Heat fan, and with a big smile, "Go Celtics." And, I kind of smile back because it's like, all right, whatever, man. And so, but here's the part that's weird to me. You can always hit me up at ZASLOW Show, by the way. You can always hit me up on Instagram where I'm an influencer. So famous. At ZASLOW J. Are we still calling it Twitter? It's X now, right? I notice now, when you go on Twitter, it's got the X logo. So, or is it always going to be called tweets? Are they going to be called X's? Because I'll tell you right now, no one's going to stop calling it tweet. It's always going to be called a tweet. Like my man Ken Levica from ESPN West Palm, he made a good point I saw yesterday on Twitter where we're always going to keep calling it a tweet. Or, I forget if it was Ken or if it was my guy Josh Cohen from up there. Anyway, I'm sorry that I'm confusing. But they made the point where it's always going to be called a tweet, just like, when we stopped with the rotary phones, the rotodial phones, we still call it, you're dialing a number. Because it used to be you're dialing. You're dialing on the phone. Those phones haven't been around in 30 plus years. We used to have that kind of phone, a rotary phone in my home. But we still call it you're dialing. Dial your phone number. And he also made the point where you hang up a phone. When you end a conversation, you hang up. And that was because you had the receiver and you would hang it back up on, the place where it goes. And with a cell phone, when you end the call, that's still hanging up. But you're not hanging anything up, but we're still calling it hanging up. I thought it was a really good point because, yeah, we're still going to call it tweeting. Matter of fact, I think we're still going to call it Twitter, but we're still going to call it tweeting. That's never going to go away. I know there's something going on there with X where there's going to be more videos, and they're X videos, which of course everyone's going to call them X-rated videos. So what is if it's an X video? What is it when we're watching one of those video clips that the porn stars put on Twitter? Don't judge me. You know what I'm talking about. You're watching the same kinds of videos I'm watching on Twitter. This is a judgment-free zone. What do they call those? There's X videos, but there's still X-rated X videos, right? Very confusing. Anyway, back to the first part. So, I get in the car. As I'm about to close the door, he yells, "Go Celtics." All right, whatever. Here's the weird part, though. And like I said, hit me up at ZASLOW Show, and you tell me here if this is odd. The thing that I find odd is not a fan of another team, especially a rival team. He sees I'm a Heat fan. He says, "Go Celtics." But here's the part that's weird to me. It's not like it was some kind of flex, or maybe he thought he was flexing. But the Heat own the Celtics. We own the Celtics. 2011, we own you. 2012, we own you. 2020, we own you. This year, we own you. Yes, the Celtics got the better of the Heat in 22. One time. The Heat have won 3 times. Don't let any of this, by the way, allow you to forget that since the Miami Heat's existence, they have won 3 times as many championships as the Boston Celtics. The Heat, as a franchise, own the Boston Celtics. So here's the weird part to me. And especially, it'd be one thing if the Celtics just came back down 3-0, which that shit's forever. You think I needed that shit in my life? Thank God that. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you so much. Thank God that didn't happen. If that happened, the young valet saying, "Go Celtics." Yeah, I got to eat that shit. I got to eat it for the rest of my life. But it didn't happen, all right? So the Heat own the Celtics. They always own them. And that's why it's a weird thing. It's not like we just came off of 2022, where the Celtics just beat the Heat Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals. Then he gives me a "Go Celtics." Like, yeah, I kind of got to eat that one. We just came off the Heat beating them. And even though it went 7 games, it was embarrassing for Boston. They were the number 1 seed. They were down, or number 2 seed. They were down 3-0, and we kicked the shit out of them in their building. Game 7 in your house for life. And you still give the go Celtics. That's weird, I think, right? Like, for instance, we were in Tampa, okay? It'd have been like if after last year, not this past season in the Stanley Cup playoffs, where obviously the Panthers, best run they've ever had in franchise history. But the year before, when the Panthers lost to the Lightning for the 2nd consecutive postseason, and lost to them that postseason in an embarrassing sweep when the Panthers were the number 1 seed and President's Trophy winner. It'd have been like if I see a Lightning fan and I decide to randomly shout, yeah, and again, the Panthers just got swept by the Lightning. And I go Panthers. Like, why would I do that? So he could then just turn and laugh at me? Yeah, we own you. Like, I wouldn't do that. That's a weird thing, right? Am I off base? Am I off base there? I wouldn't then shout to random Lightning fan. Now, if we're having a conversation or whatever about hockey, hey, I'm a Panther fan. Okay, fine, anything goes. But just randomly, I see a Lightning fan, go Panthers, and we just got swept by them. Why would I do that? I'm playing myself there. That's why I thought it was weird. It goes Celtics. All right, like, we own you. Thank you for letting me know that you're on the other end of us always beating you. I thought that was very, very strange. Now, what isn't strange? Again, you can hit me up at ZASLOW Show. Am I being weird? Am I the weird one in that spot? I may be reading this wrong. I may be totally the weird one in that spot. All right, you can hit me up at ZASLOW Show, of course. Hey, if you have a water leak in your home, you don't know where it's coming from. This is important, all right? You got to call or text Water Cleanup of Florida. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. We're talking over 60 years of combined experience. Water Cleanup of Florida is prepared to handle all types of leak detection issues. You can't let this fester into something huge where then you got a major problem in your home. Water Cleanup of Florida is going to take care of it right away before it becomes a major problem. And when they locate and repair the leak, hey, they're not done yet. Water Cleanup of Florida then cleans, dries, and fully restores any of the damaged areas. Fully licensed, insured, certified to provide the one-stop shopping that all of us busy business owners and homeowners require. You don't bring in any other contractors because Water Cleanup of Florida is handling the entire project from start to finish. They serve the entire Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward County, Palm Beach counties. Call or text Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. You could also go to WCUFL.com. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. Water Cleanup of Florida, we clean up your schmutz. Now, let's get to last night. Of course, I enjoyed watching last night, watching my guy, Lionel Messi, my team, Inter Miami. I'm an inaugural season ticket holder, Inter Miami, and I got a Johnny in my hand. I'm sitting on the ZASLOW Mansion family room on the couch, beer in my hand, Johnny Cuba, sitting in my underwear. That's how I'm super comfortable. Of course I had a Johnny in my hand. What am I talking about? Johnny Cuba, official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. It's a lifestyle brand. You know what I'm talking about. European roots with a Caribbean soul. It's a refreshing German lager in a can. That's how we enjoy all the sporting events here in the ZASLOW family, in the ZASLOW Mansion. Now, you can, of course, purchase a 6-pack of Johnny, your local Sedano's, Presidente, Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas. If you don't have any of these locations nearest you, you send me a message on Instagram or Twitter. I talked to my man Juan from Johnny Cuba, and he tells you exactly where you can pick up a Johnny Cuba near where you live. Remember, always drink responsibly, and of course, Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. All right, so let's get after it here. Second game yesterday. Now, I'm an inaugural season ticket holder, but I didn't have tickets last night because it's a Leagues Cup game. By the way, tickets, I know pre-sale this morning for Leagues Cup went on sale. Inter Miami wins last night. So now, they've clinched the playoffs. They're going to host again, Dry Pink Stadium, August 2nd, round of 32. Now it's knockout round. 48 teams start. So this is what I've gathered. It's 16, groups. There's 4 East, 4 West, 4 North, 4 South. And 3 teams in each group. The top 2 advance. So 48 total teams, top 2 advance, 32 advance to the knockout round. And Inter Miami now 2-0. They're done with group play. They have advanced. They beat both the other teams, Cruz Azul and Atlanta United, who will now play, and the winner of that also advances out of the group. The other one is done. So going into the game last night, all right, this is going to be a much better gauge of the competition, right? Because Cruz Azul, they're not good. And they really outplayed Inter Miami like the first 20 minutes of the game on Friday night. Messi checks in the second half along with Sergio Busquets at the 55-minute. And Inter Miami played pretty well then the rest of the way. They're up 1-0 at halftime. They played pretty well the rest of the way, but it took heroics from Lionel Messi. Stoppage time, final minute, free kick, bend it like Beckham, and Inter Miami wins. But okay, this is going to be a much better gauge because you're playing an MLS team now. And you're playing an MLS team that's pretty good. They're they're either the highest or the second highest scoring team in MLS, Atlanta United. They won the championship a couple years ago. And they're 7th right now in the Eastern Conference. They currently hold the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, where Inter Miami, they're last place in the Eastern Conference. So you got last place Inter Miami against a playoff caliber team in MLS. This is going to be a much better gauge of where we're at. And from the start, Inter Miami dominates this game. They dominated Atlanta United. You know, for folks who aren't sold on soccer down here, we're a soccer family, right? We love soccer here in the ZASLOW Mansion. And I don't know if I told you, but I'm also an Inter Miami season. I'm an inaugural Inter Miami season ticket holder. If you haven't been paying attention to Inter Miami, because, they stink, it's a completely different experience when your favorite soccer team is good and they're dominating. And Inter Miami has never been good. Last night was the first time ever that Inter Miami led a game 3-0. First time they've ever scored 4 goals in a game. And Messi now, not that you couldn't see it in the first game, because you did, but oh my God, and Busquets as well. The passing, the foot skills, the dribbling, and just his presence out there. Holy shit. You better start paying attention. And things got going early yesterday. I think it was in the 8th minute. I'm going to give you the goals. All right. I think it was in the 8th minute. Beautiful pass from Busquets to Messi. I can't believe he was still onside. You never got a replay because Apple Plus doesn't give you replays. Technically, production-wise, it's a bad broadcast, Apple Plus. We never got a replay to show us if Messi was onside. I mean, they review it, of course. They're not going to kick off after the goal until they actually review it, and they did, so he was fine. I would have liked to see how he stayed onside, but somehow he does.
Everything's about opening the game going forward. Great ball from Brunt.
I think he's onside. Messi with Kazan off his line. Messi off the post. Puts the follow in. Of course he did. 8 minutes in. Lionel Messi gets his second for Miami. 1-0.
I mean, it was the first of what would be several breakaways in the game yesterday. And, they made note of this on the broadcast too. It probably deflated Atlanta United a bit because, Messi right away gets going. It's like, holy shit, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about Messi? So Inter Miami goes up 1-0 there early on. The crowd's going bonkers. And it's like, 36 years old, doesn't matter. This is Messi's league. Lionel Messi runs MLS now. Make no mistake about it. So they're up 1-0. And not too much longer after that, it's Messi again.
This certainly isn't. Messi driving forward. Over to Robert Taylor. Taylor cutting it back. Martinez left it for Messi. Oh, my word. He has done it again. Lionel Messi. 3 goals in less than an hour of play for Inter Miami. 2-0 tonight over Atlanta.
Just beautiful soccer here. Messi makes the pass to Taylor. Taylor then finds Messi streaking into the 6. And just a nice tap, just a one touch redirects the ball. I mean, and that's not an easy play to make, but it's so easy for him. Gets it to the back of the net there, no problem whatsoever. 2-0, and now in a total of 57 minutes of play, because that was scored in the 22nd minute. So 22 minutes in, Inter Miami's up 2-0. But in 57 total minutes of play, Lionel Messi has 3 goals. Dominating Leagues Cup so far. So it's 2-0. Before the end of the half, you had Robert Taylor, beautiful goal. I mean, just a snipe. 3-0. And then into the second half, Messi, another breakaway, sets up his new best friend, Taylor.
Giving it away. Here we go. Messi isolated with Ronald Hernandez. Almada coming back to help defend. Taylor to his left. Robert Taylor up and running. Robert Taylor off the post and in. Oh, does he love playing with Lionel Messi? Robert Taylor, second of the night. Miami 4, Atlanta 0.
Amazing. So much fun to watch when your soccer team is good. And we have never had, look, this is what, 4th year, I think, for Inter Miami, 4th or 5th year. We have never, because first year was COVID, right? So 20, 21, 22, 20, 4th year. Inter Miami's never been good. They've won games, but you've never watched them. It's like, whoa, they're just dominating. And this wasn't Cruz Azul. This was a good MLS team, Atlanta United. So 4-0. And then the cherry on top of the sundae, we're late in the game. It's in like the 88th or 89th minute. You get a penalty. It was a clear penalty. It was a red card, very obvious red card. So now you got Drake Calendar's a good goal. He's a good keeper. You would like to have the shutout. You'd like to have the clean sheet preserved. But these penalties, they're impossible. And I know this because here in the ZASLOW mansion, the ZASLOW family, my oldest son, Corey, he's a keeper for Weston Select. The penalties are impossible to stop. Drake Callender, though, he officially put the exclamation points on last night's match.
A little bit to force Almada to be perfect.
Almada is saved by Drake Callender. The Miami dream continues. Everything going right for Inter Miami. Mascara saved by Callender on the follow-up.
That shit was awesome. Read it the whole way. He was super pumped up, and it's like, why does he have to be so pumped up? They're up 4-0. They're going to win no matter what. No, he's pumped up because that save was a big deal. That save put the exclamation points on the game. That was how the night went. It was a dominant night led by Leo Messi, kind of a coming out there for Robert Taylor, who clearly is enjoying playing with Messi, who's going to make life easier for him, but also everyone else on Inter Miami. And then Callender gets to have his big moment, not to preserve the win, but winning 4-0 in that type of effort is different from winning 4-1. And Callender, he read it the whole way. Great save on the PK. And Inter Miami now advances to the playoff round, to round of 32, August 2nd at Dry Pink Stadium. Now, here's a weird thing. I don't know if, can somebody explain this to me? So, and this is very soccer. And the NBA is trying to emulate that with their in-season tournament. It's very soccer. That's what they're trying to emulate. Why do I care about this Leagues Cup tournament? I want Inter Miami to win it. I feel like it's important to me. Why do I care about this tournament for Inter Miami in season, and I don't care about the in-season NBA tournament? Now, maybe I will care once they start playing it in the NBA, but just the idea of it right now, I don't care. Why do I not care about that? But I'm totally invested in Inter Miami winning this Leagues Cup tournament. What's the difference? So, I don't have the answer to that. But that's a weird thing where, like, yeah, I'm into it. And I don't think I care about the NBA's in-season tournament. Now, maybe because I care about the only thing I can come up with. The only thing. I love the Heat so much. They're by far my favorite sports team. And I don't really care about Inter Miami winning the MLS Cup. It's not really a thought. But maybe because it's something, maybe because it feels more attainable. Inter Miami winning this League's Cup. Maybe because it's something that's happening right now. Compared to the Heat where it's only about championships. It's only about the NBA championship to me. I don't care about winning any other silly little tournament. I don't know. Is that why? Because I care so much more about the Heat in general is why this MLS in-season tournament, and now it's not MLS, it's Leagues Cup. There's teams all over the world. MLS is shut down for the time being for this. Is that why I care? It's kind of a weird reason. That's the only thing I could think of. I don't know what to tell you. It's the only thing I could think of. So anyway, last night was fun as hell, man. And the crowd's super into it, of course. And at least for the next 2.5 years, and there's a mutual option for the year after that because they're hoping that the new stadium is going to be good to go for the 26 season. So Messi will play 24 and 25, and they're going to want to open the new stadium with Messi. So it's a 2.5-year deal with an option for the fourth season. And so at least for the next few years, we got something going on now in the summer. Because obviously you can't trust the Marlins. And the Marlins lost again last night. Yes, Marlins lost again last night. I think it was 4-1 was the final, 5-1, 4-1, 5-1. In Tampa, they play this afternoon. They'll try and avoid a short little 2-game sweep against the Rays. The Marlins have lost 9 out of 10. They're now, I think, a half game back of the wild card spots. But now, every summer for the next few years, it's not just about, hey, what can hold us over until Dolphins start? Dolphins training camp starts. Dolphins preseason starts. We're going to be watching Messi dominate. It's pretty clear, right? He's going to dominate. We get to watch Messi dominate now for the next few summers. So cool. Best sports town in South Florida. Center of the sports universe. Everybody knows that. So that's what we got to look forward to now over the next few years. But man, it's such a weird thing because I feel like now the expectation for Inter, and who knows, Jordi Alba, my son tells me he's a really good player. He's going to be joining Inter Miami real soon. Are they going to add Luis Suarez? I don't know. But anyway, this isn't even like Inter Miami's full group, essentially. You got a bit more of a look at it yesterday because Messi started, Busquets started, Joseph Martinez started. But the first game, you didn't get, it was not a full group. Anyway, so last night, Inter Miami advances to the round of 32. Where was I going with this? All right. Messi last night, still bringing the crowd with him. What I mean by that, you had DJ Khaled there. You had P. Diddy was there. You probably had other stars there that I didn't see. So, yeah. Oh, and how about Khaled's son was there? I always like how they do that in soccer, where they come out, they're holding the hands with the kids. They stand there for the anthems. And Khaled's son was hysterical crying. Just overcome with emotion that he's standing there with Leo Messi. Really cool moment. And good on Messi for trying to comfort him, making him feel better. All right, kid, come on. Let's keep it together. But anyway, really, really, really fun experience last night. I don't plan on going. I think it's Tuesday, August 2nd is the game. I know it's August 2nd. I think it's Tuesday. I don't plan, or Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. I don't plan on going to the round of 32 game. Oh, I know where I was going with this. So I feel like based on what we saw last night, it kind of feels like anything is possible for this Inter Miami team. I feel like win this tournament. And then when we're talking about the actual second half of the MLS season, they have 12 games remaining. They're 12 points back of the final playoff spot. 12 games remaining, 36 points available. And like they were saying on the broadcast last night, you probably need like 27 more points. 27 out of these 36 points. So if you want to do it, you could win 9 out of 12 games. It's going to be hard. Team's only won 5 games so far this year. Or, is it 7? Is it 7 wins and then you get no, that wouldn't make you could do 8 wins and 3 ties, but then you're only losing 1 game. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to accrue 27 points. But anyway, they got a shot if that's what they're going to look like last night. And again, that was against a good team. That was against a playoff caliber Atlanta United team. So the point is, we may have a fun second half of this MLS season. And then you have, though, is Messi going to play on the turf? There's that going on where he refuses to play on the fields, the road games where there's turf. I hope they figure that situation out because apparently all the road games for Inter Miami have been sold out. And if Messi's not going to play in those games, that's a bad look for everybody involved. So hopefully MLS can figure that whole situation out. But the second half of this season could wind up being a whole lot of fun if you're an Inter Miami fan. Really, really cool. All right. You know what else is cool? When you're lying in bed at night, you're underneath the sheets, and you got your sheets and giggles. That's what's keeping you cool. That's right. You got naturally softer, cooler, the most breathable sheets you've ever slept with. Sheets and Giggles. Sheets and Giggles been a sponsor on ZASLOW Show 2.0 4 or 5 months now. That's when you knew things were trending in the right direction, right? For ZASLOW Show 2.0. Sheets and Giggles jumps on board. My man Colin, founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles. You've heard Sheets and Giggles on the Levitard Show. You've heard Sheets and Giggles on the Greg Cody Show podcast featuring Greg Cody. And now ZASLOW Show 2.0. And because you're hearing about Sheets and Giggles now, you're going to go to sheetsgiggles.com and your family's going to become one of over 100,000 Americans who are sleeping on Sheets and Giggles and never turning back. That's right. It's the only place we're ever going to have to shop now for our sheets. Sheetsgiggles.com. Super environmentally friendly. You're getting the best sleep of your life. Have you ever slept on a eucalyptus pillow? I sleep on a eucalyptus pillow now. I love it. Have you ever slept on a eucalyptus mattress? Sheetsgiggles.com. You're going to get the softest, coolest, most breathable sheets. Use promo code ZASLOW at your first order on checkout. You'll get 20% off. Sheets and Giggles, the only sheets you're ever going to need now the rest of your life. Sheetsgiggles.com. So, we got some NFL stuff to get to. Dolphins training camp open up today. Training camps are open up all over the country. How about NFL? They're released like every day. They're doing like another 10. And you got the NFL Top 100 countdown that's going on right now. NFL.com, NFL Network. And yesterday, they released 90 to 81. 3 Dolphins made their debut in the Top 100. Made their debut for this season, not ever. Number 83, Teron Armstead. Number 82, Tua Tagovailoa officially makes his debut in the top 100. And number 81, Christian Wilkins. So how about that? 3 in a row there. 83, 82, 81. Armstead 83, Tagovailoa 82, Wilkins 81. I got no problem with any of those. Tua, you got to figure he's on probably overall ranked around number 12 as far as quarterbacks go. So would the 12th best quarterback be around 82? Yeah, probably. A lot of great players in the NFL. Teron Armstead would be much higher than 83 if not for injury concern, but he's awesome. Everybody knows that. And Christian Wilkins as well. The question here, though, is, so these are the first 3 Dolphins to appear. 81, 82, 83. Who else is going to appear in the top 100? I got 3 that are locks to appear. Tyreek Hill. He'll likely be top 20. Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle will probably appear at any point now. I could see him in the 60s or the 70s. And Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey will probably be top 20 as well. So I think the Dolphins will have 2 top 20 guys, Hill and Ramsey. I could see Waddle anywhere around 50, 60, something like that. I don't know if they're getting anybody else. Now, if you have 6 guys in the top 100, that's pretty awesome. But there are a couple other names that you're probably saying to yourself right now, ZASLOW, hold on a second. How do you leave out Bradley Chubb? I don't think Bradley Chubb's making the top 100 based on the season he just had. He had a down year. If we're projecting what he's going to be, and I don't know if that's how they do their top 100, new defensive coordinator, full year with the team, I do think Bradley Chubb's a top 100 player. But the reason I don't think he's going to be in this top 100 is because I don't think he would be ranked ahead of Christian Wilkins or Teron Armstead. Like, Wilkins and Armstead were both better at what they do last year. Were both better at what they do than Bradley Chubb was at what he does. Now, I'm not saying overall that's the case, but last year, he was not as good as those two guys. So, if those two guys are already on the list, I don't think Bradley Chubb's going to be ranked ahead of them. So, I don't think Bradley Chubb's making the top 100 this year. Same thing with Xavier Howard. You heard his agent yesterday, David Cantor. Down year. Chip on his shoulder. Lot to prove. And Xavier Howard a couple days ago when asked about it, what people have been saying about him having a down year. You heard him, he said, fuck him. I hope Xavier Howard is not on the top 100. Just like with the Miami Heat, where I love when they don't get any awards. I love when they get snubbed. I love when people are doubting them. I don't want any awards. I feel that way about Xavier Howard going into this year. I hope Xavier Howard gets completely left off this top 100. I don't think he's going to be on the top 100 because this past year, Christian Wilkins and Teron Armstead were both better at what they do than Xavier Howard was, and they're already on the list at 81 and 83. I don't think Howard's going to be ranked ahead of them. I don't think Xavier Howard's going to be in the top 100, and I like it. I want a massive chip on his shoulder. I want him going into this season angry. And I think that's what you're going to wind up getting. So, am I leaving anyone else out as far as this top 100 is concerned? I don't think so. So, I think in theory, the Dolphins have 5 top 100 guys. But I think, in theory, I think they have 8 top 100 guys. But only 6 are going to make the list. So, Armstead came in at 83. Tagovailoa 82. Wilkins 81. Waddle, I think, will be around 50, 60. Hill and Ramsey are going to be in the top 20. Bradley Chubb's going to get snubbed. Xavier Howard's going to get snubbed. So that's what I got there as far as the top 100. Other NFL news that we got to get to here. Justin Herbert yesterday. Justin Herbert, there's a couple things that stood out to me here. Justin Herbert signed his new deal. The next one's Burrow, right? So Justin Herbert signs the new deal. 5-year extension. $262.5 million total with $133 million guaranteed. I know there's some extra guarantees as far as injury goes. That's like the new thing. You get an injury guarantee. But it's $133 million guaranteed. 2 things stand out for me here. Number 1, this shows you that Lamar Jackson was being difficult. Lamar Jackson always wanted that Deshaun Watson contract, the $250 million guaranteed. That was never going to happen because that's not a real thing. That's an outlier. That's not a real thing. That's the Cleveland Browns forcing Deshaun Watson to accept a deal to them because he didn't want to go there. But we're going to make you an offer that you can't refuse. And you can't refuse the richest by double contract in the history of the NFL. And that's why Deshaun Watson is a Cleveland Brown. That's not a real contract. That's not the barometer. And it's the same thing with Rudy Gobert in the NBA. Just because the Timberwolves traded 5 unprotected first-round picks for Rudy Gobert does not mean that's now the standard. That does not mean when Damian Lillard is to get traded, well, he's much better than Gobert. We won 10 unprotected first-round picks. Nope. Just because that's what he was worth to the Timberwolves does not mean that's what every player is now worth to the team trying to trade for them. Just because the Timberwolves made a stupid trade does not mean everyone else needs to make a stupid trade. And just because the Cleveland Browns gave out a stupid contract does not mean every other team now needs to give out a stupid contract. And it goes to show you, because you see Herbert now. Now, I'm not saying that Herbert's better than Lamar Jackson. But we know every time these deals are signed with the quarterbacks, the money gets richer and richer and richer. Herbert didn't get as much as Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got a total of $250 some odd million, but $138 guaranteed. So Herbert got $5 million guaranteed less than Jackson, which feels right. Lamar Jackson's better. Lamar Jackson has proven more. Besides which, Lamar Jackson bet on himself, and then he had a down year where he also got hurt and couldn't finish the season. Why should he be rewarded for that? He bet on himself, he lost. That's how a bet goes. If you lose your bet, you lose the bet. But as you would expect, Herbert gets a little bit less than Jackson. That lines up. Jackson's better. Jackson's accomplished more. So it shows you, it's not like, there were all kinds of rumbles. Oh, Jackson's being treated unfairly. Maybe it's a black and white thing is your rationale there. Whatever it is. But Jackson's being treated unfairly because watch what Herbert gets. Watch what Joe Burrow gets. First of all, Joe Burrow's better than Lamar Jackson. He is. Be fair. Joe Burrow's better. I know he hasn't won an MVP. Joe Burrow's better than Lamar Jackson. Now, Herbert's not. And that's why Herbert got less than Lamar Jackson. But it just goes to show you, Jackson was being difficult. The Deshaun Watson contract does not exist. It's not a real thing. And when Burrow signs his deal, he will get more than Jackson. But he's not going to get what Deshaun Watson got. You'll see. That's the first thing that stood out to me. The second thing that stands out is, what does the Herbert deal mean for Tua? Now, Burrow's going to get his deal real soon, most likely. Tua's not going to get a deal before this season the way the others in his draft class just did and are going to. He's got the injury situation. Tua's not going to get a new deal before the end of this season the way these guys are. But if Tua makes it through this season, and look, he'll miss a couple games because that's the way it goes. But if Tua gets through this season, you know he's going to have a phenomenal year. It's not possible for Tua to make it through the season and not have a phenomenal year. It's not possible. The offense is too good. He's too good. That's my dog, Tua. He's too good. But if Tua's not going to get paid before the season gets going, or even before this season ends. But if he makes it through this season, he will get more than Herbert. This is the now, how much more? Maybe it's $1 more. I don't know. But the deal Herbert just got, 5 years, $262.5 with $133 million guaranteed. Tua's going to get something similar. Now, could there be some fancy language in there? I don't know. But Tua makes it through this year, he's going to get something similar. So that's kind of the baseline, especially because it's Herbert. And look, hey, Herbert versus Tua, week 1. This contract's going to be one of those headlines too. That's an extra storyline going into that. And Tua's going to kick his ass. What are they, 1-1 now, I think, right? Tua faced Herbert, Tua's rookie year. Dolphins won that game, although Tua didn't do anything huge. And last year, of course, the game in Los Angeles, and the Dolphins lost that game, right? Dolphins lost that game. That was during the stretch where they lost 5 in a row. So 1-1 now, and we get it going first week of the year, and now you got this new contract hanging up there. Extra storyline, love it. So those are the two things that stood out to me as far as Herbert's new deal. 1, Lamar Jackson was being difficult, clearly. And 2, this is going to be very similar to what Tua winds up getting. Very similar to what Tua winds up getting. Hey guys, I've been telling you about Brunt Insurance for months now. And that's 2 reasons. Number 1, I've been using Brunt Insurance for my homeowner's insurance for about 10 years now. I get the best coverage. I get the best rate out there. That's why I'm telling you about Brunt Insurance. And I'm telling you about Brunt Insurance because if you're a listener to ZASLOW Show 2.0, I care about you, man. You're my dog, all right? I want to make sure that you're covered. We have so many things in our lives that we have to worry about. How about one less thing being, what if there's damage to our home? What am I going to do about it? You're going to sit tight because you went to Brunt Insurance, bruntinsurance.com, 954-589-2204. Brunt Insurance has you covered from Pensacola all the way down to the Keys, wherever you're calling from in the state of Florida. Brunt Insurance was recently named top 5 insurance agency in the country, number 1 in Florida. Wherever you're calling from, Greg Brunt and his fully insured, fully licensed, fully certified staff at Brunt Insurance, they know exactly what area you're going to be calling from. They know exactly what type of coverage you need, the most affordable care. Hey, you're making the right call. 954-589-2204. Greg Brunt and his team, they have the expertise and the experience to find the right coverage for you, including comprehensive policies on trailers and motorhomes as well. If you don't own your home, renter's insurance, condo insurance, don't worry. All this can be confusing. Brunt Insurance specializes in making the confusing crystal clear. They're going to give you all your options. Bruntinsurance.com, 954-589-2204. 2204.